बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अल्लाह के पाक नाम से आज की इस छोटी सी सेशन का आगाज़ करते हैं। First of all, today this is a session about the coffee with CEO. It is by the CEO Club Pakistan and the CEO Today TV at Management House. It's one of the finest learning executive development center of Pakistan. The concept of this coffee with CEO is to get the information, to learnings from CEOs as mentors, because these CEOs are the mentors, these are the entrepreneurs, these people guide us, especially the youth, and the focus is developing the young people in Pakistan through the learnings and insights of the CEOs. So this is the concept, and today we are so lucky, we have a very special guest, Ghazi Akhtar sir. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Riaz Bottlers, a Managing Director. And above all, he is also the proud son of a proud father, General Akhtar sir. So he was a great soldier of this land of this Pakistan, and we are really honored. We have Ghazi Akhtar sir today at Management News. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much for giving your time, sir. My first question to you, sir. Just share with us about your background, your upbringing, being the son of a soldier, and what kind of the learnings you learned from your father, especially as a legendary soldier of Pakistan, and what are the memories you have about your father and your childhood? What did you say?
Thank you very much. First of all, thanks a lot for inviting me. I'm really overwhelmed and thrilled by what you have shown me here at the Management House. I wish you the best of luck.
My pleasure.
I would certainly like to stay connected with you. There is a lot of benefit you can bring to the economic community, the corporate community in Pakistan. You are positioning yourself to fill a gap that seriously exists. But your question about my upbringing, I was brought by a very simple-minded father and very simple-minded mother, and committed to making house, home beautiful place, and commitment to good values, clean habits, and dedication to education. These were the key values. My father was like any military officer, limited means, but we always lived with pride. We never felt we were short of anything. We took pride in our home, in our family, and in our educational achievements. So the focus was on the best possible education and a good character. There are many other things one can talk about, but these are a few attributes at the heart of our upbringing.
These are the values you have taught at your home regarding discipline, regarding your respect.
Good character, education.
Sir, my second question regarding education in Pakistan. Are you happy with the quality of education right now, and especially the graduate being produced by our local universities?
To be honest with you, I have exposure around the world. I have worked in Canada, I have worked in USA, I have been in Taiwan, spent months there, Tokyo, Hong Kong, London, and now in PepsiCo I have been exposed to a very large spectrum of countries. Honestly, some of the best people in my 37 years of corporate life have in Pakistan, men and women. There's no question about it. And if you compare the education standard in Pakistan versus those that you see around the world, I don't want to jump and start criticizing it. We have a few good things, and we don't meet up to the global standard. But bottom line is that there are universities graduating excellent students. but there are a couple of things that they really need to focus on. One is coaching and training, other than academics, on ethics and politics. Very good characters. Because in the corporate world, in the wide world, we need to stand by the value. We unfortunately hear a lot of things on the television. And that I see in a lot of young people, it declines their morality, which is wrong. And they take the wrong step. And they get punished for that. But I think the universities should inculcate good ethics and all. Secondly is combination of practical life and integrating it with academic life. Up to a point, academic life pure is relevant. But beyond a certain point in your education career, it has to be a combination of academics integrating with real life issues, so that you can see them together, and the child must be then trained to see how he can improve things in real life using the education that he has been given. That aspect, I think, needs an improvement. But we have developed something, frankly, from a number of institutions, some very fine boys and girls are coming up.
Well, so you rightly said our system of education is very good, and we are very proud of our talent across the globe. We will find best CFOs, best CEOs, best bankers, best doctors. You will find best in Europe and US. So my third question to you: what core competences do you think that our education system inculcates in our young people, which are missing? Which you really feel it asks, these are the three competences. Even if our education system inculcate or develop, we can really make a big revolution change in this country.
I think two of them I mentioned. I'll cover them again. One is the practicality, practical experience, and how what is taught in the books connect with it, and using the two and teach the child how to improve the practical world. That's one. Secondly, very important, as I said, is good morals and ethics. I think a lot of people grow up thinking that being a twister is the road to success, and I'm vehemently against it. You've got to be smart, you've got to be tough, but success requires good ethics and morals. And it's a difficult way, but that's the sure way of success. The third thing I would say leadership. And leadership, and I think connected with that, giving the boys and girls the confidence to be creative and innovative. Think out of the box. I mean, the education should not put blinkers on the eyes of the child. Just one comment that really inspired me was given by President Beckau of the Tufts University. I was at the graduation ceremony of my son many years back. Now Beckau is president of Harvard.
Okay.
And I began to know him there. But he was my first child in university, so I used to visit him a lot. And in his graduation speech, he said something which was so good. He said, "You're all graduating. This is not the limit of your education. This is just giving you a base to discover the endless knowledge, to seek the endless knowledge that exists out there." And I think, I personally, I was a parent, but I myself was very inspired by it. So that is the kind of feeling that children should be given. It's not an end. Graduating is just a beginning.
It's a beginning. Sir, as you mentioned, the third part of the competence is the leadership to education. My question to you, sir, what is leadership to you? Because a lot of literature is being produced on leadership and management. Even it is a research, after each 6 minutes, a new book on leadership is uploaded on Google. And we have a lot of literature on leadership. in a concise way, how we define leadership and how we can calculate the core competences of leadership in our youth.
Well, if honestly, if I am able to answer that question, then I should have a place in the world community, which is, if I can. But as you said, every 6 minutes a book on leadership is coming up. I have a shelf full of books on leadership. I've read a lot. You showed me during the visit of your very nice premises, Harvard Business Review is one of my favorite magazines. I've read a lot, case studies. But you know, having seen so much and having been to so many parts of the world, the best lesson in leadership comes from our own profession. And I'm a very enlightened person, and I'm not a fanatically religious person. And I'm not very well read on religion either. But whatever I know and whatever I've read, that's the best leadership example you can have. From my own experiences, as I was talking to one of your colleagues, your associates, first thing is the guts to have a big vision. Don't think low. Keep your eyes up. Don't be afraid to think big. If you don't think big, you'll never achieve it. Your mind is the driver. Your mind is the driver. Secondly, then, the courage to put it into practice.
Wow.
The courage. And a lot of people have ideas, but they don't have, some people have the brains, but they don't have the guts to think big. Some people have dreams, but they don't have the courage to take it through. And there are social things that have been confining them. And finally, this is a world of human beings. You've got to be a human. You've got to understand that every person created in this planet is different and is a human being. So if you yourself realize you are a human being and you're dealing with human beings and deal with people in that manner, that is, if you are able to even capture 5% of this, you can be a good leader. Because there is no book, no law, no company policy that can they are required for a certain discipline administratively. But in the end, it's your common sense as a human being. Because people and your team is what will carry you through to success. Never ever forget.
Rightly said, you really you justified it in defining the leadership. My next take, because you are again repeating you are son of this land and son of the soldier, and in the army background from the fatherly side. Sir, my question is, because you are basically doing the business, in the corporate world, and business is entirely different from job. And you're an entrepreneur yourself. What is your take now on entrepreneurship in Pakistan? Because we are seriously facing one biggest challenge in this country, that is joblessness. And entrepreneurs are the people who create the jobs, rather than receive the jobs. What is your take on entrepreneurship in Pakistan? And how we can create more job providers rather than job seekers? How we can change this mindset? And what are the challenges being an entrepreneur you faced? Because our young people will learn, because we don't find jobs. What the recipe for entrepreneurship for the young people from your perspectives?
Well, very, very interesting question. I lived 12 years in Canada, USA. And at a time I thought I would come back. But I came back, and my friends are left behind. Now at this age, and myself, I'm so glad I made that decision. Honestly, the land of opportunity was not the United States of America. The land of opportunity was Pakistan. There is no question about it. 207 million people, growing at 2.4%. The geographic location and 22.3 average age, and we are inhabited by wonderful people. My wife or my daughter out on the street at 12 at night would be approached by somebody who will say, Benji, Amma ji, main kuch kar sakta hu. Can you imagine your wife or sister or your mother walking alone in the street in New York or Mexico City or San Francisco or Miami? They're in trouble. So that's why I say it's a beautiful country. And so I will quote you one person, David Darst. David Darst is managing director of Morgan Stanley. He is in love with Pakistan. And he visited Pakistan. I came to know him and I invited him over at my house and we had a very good dinner together. He shared his one observation about Pakistan with me. He said, can you find an American who can do business and start a business anywhere outside of USA? Maybe Europe or anywhere else? He said, I can't find many. He said, you go to any country of the world, you will find some Pakistani doing business there, either a shop or trading or something like that. He said, Pakistanis are so resilient, his underlying word was resilient, they can go and accommodate themselves in any environment. Okay? So, inherent in our people is this skill. I just use this quotation from David Darth or my anecdote with him to explain what I believe in. Okay. Now, to let these opportunities come out, we've got to put our economy on the right track. There is some few simple measures that can do that for us. When the economy is there and the opportunities will come, and with the kind of skills that we see generation after generation in Pakistan, you will see entrepreneurship mushroom like never before. You will forget China, you will forget India, you will forget Vietnam, you will forget Turkey, you will forget Malaysia, you will forget Indonesia. Pakistan will become an icon of entrepreneurship and innovation. That's my belief.
Sir, I appreciate that, I respect your belief, sir. But again, we are an anti-entrepreneurial society, especially from the public sector. Government is not facilitating entrepreneurs, rather than creating 25 almost sarkari departments who are after the entrepreneurs. हाँ जी ये क्या हो रहा है, ये कैसे हो रहा है, कहाँ से आ? So rather than facilitating chambers and thinking bodies bani hai, they're anti-entrepreneurs. So what the measures do you think for a startup ecosystem or startup culture in this society? What are the 3 initiatives we have to take because to support the government sector and the private sector to facilitate this entrepreneurial ecosystem or startup ecosystem culture in Pakistan?
Very, very important. I will agree with you that in some parts of our system there is a negativity about entrepreneurship, and we don't celebrate our successful business leaders.
Sure.
But let me, on a positive side, my belief is very strongly, and I was discussing this with a very senior executive of a company very recently, and their business had some trouble and they came to me for assistance. And we were able to solve it in 5 days. And he said, Ghazi, something like this in China would have taken 3 years, something like this in Turkey would have taken about 2 years. And they are business-friendly countries. I said, look, these issues happen anywhere in the world. The bureaucracies and the guys in the stream, you know, somebody will pull your leg or will misinterpret the law or something. But what you will find different in Pakistan is that very soon you will find somebody in the system who will understand your issue and will solve it with a snap. So that's where I think the difference. In spite of that negativity, I think there is a lot of positivity that prevails around in our country. Now, you asked a very important question about startups and what the government can do. Those measures are very, very simple. But talking about those measures without leadership is meaningless. It has to start at the top. You see the startup culture in Indonesia is really mushrooming, but it's coming from the top. A lot of people are trying here and there, but unless there is a leadership buy-in, that will be difficult. So I think that as the wheel turns, it is inevitable, and with the youthfulness of our country, and the noises and the echoes that you are hearing about government support for startups and its need for economy, don't be disheartened. Keep at it. There are many, many successes of startups too, in spite of very good government support. So obviously, a leadership that has a will for it. So vote for somebody you think is going to come and has a vision to support startups. The measures are very simple. The banking system. Our banking system is virtually, I should not say this, I have a lot of friends in the banking system. In many ways, it's very old-fashioned. It's a security-based, collateral-based system, and my friends and colleagues say agree with that. So you've got to develop something in the state bank and the rule that financing has to be this.
Funds, they should have access to the funds.
Secondly, it's the revenue division of our country. They've got to give some very, very attractive incentives. Some of them are there, but it has to be done in a much more wholesome manner. And third is a department that I would even go to the extent that have a startup ministry or entrepreneurship ministry. And that is able to put some genuine guy in there. Some very good people are there. I don't want to take names here, but who are very qualified for that. They don't have to come from the political field. If they are placed there, they have the know-how to orchestrate things and coordinate between provinces and municipalities, and state banks and every division to enable and help the young entrepreneurs and startups. These are some of the basic, but the key, the sea change will come if the man on the top has that vision.
True. They are at the end of the day, it is the leader. Leadership doesn't matter. Now, going forward, sir, women constitute the 50% of this population, 51%. What is your take on the women entrepreneurship development? Because without their participation and empowerment, country cannot go to the next level, economically, especially. What is your take on the women entrepreneurship development and leadership development and empowerment?
I'm a great fan of Seema Aziz, whose picture I saw out there. I'm a great fan of Mrs. Kusuri. I'm an enormous fan of Mrs. Jawar Ali, who runs the grammar school, and many other such.
Shana
Zafar, I met her. Great initiative. Now, I'll be a little bit more philosophical about it.
Okay.
God created this world to have equal opportunities. The best of human beings in any sphere, it's the nature, the way God has created us, will come out if the presence of those genders is in that proportion.
True.
That's absolutely critical. And that in a corporate environment, in a government, yeah. So that's very, very critical. And in my humble opinion, I would not say better or worse, but there should be no mental block in the mind that women can or cannot do something. Frankly, also, it should not be a mental block that men cannot do something. Everybody must have the same opportunity. Everybody must be encouraged. And in the end, by the law of nature, you will see that the mix that you will get out of all that will be equally to mix. And as a result, can you imagine the progress? We have extremely talented women in this country. Our girls have passion. The young girls are trained in high morals and ethics. So there is so much they can contribute. And again, Pakistan has improved a lot in this. But a lot more needs to be done. The education, the counseling, the TV programs. Our religion preaches emancipation of women. It's not otherwise. It's totally and absolutely misunderstood. And again, I'm not an expert in religion, but our Prophet took some steps to improve the treatment of women. But given the culture, he took some steps. The rest was up to the followers to take it further. We took it as a difference, which is, in my limited understanding of the religion, is the wrong interpretation.
Sir, thank you for enlightening this, the philosophical part of this women empowerment. We're just listening other way out. My next question regarding the Riaz Bottlers. When it started? Why? Because again, my question is, you are having a different background and business is a different ballgame. And what the challenges you faced initially, and what the vision for this your company in the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, this is very important. Riaz Bottlers is a Pepsi Cola franchise.
Yes. And
my brothers and I were never groomed to be businessmen.
True. There is my
or politicians. And where I am sitting today, at my age of 28, 29, I never imagined I will be here. Okay. Even at that age. Okay. And that's why I say I came back to Pakistan. There was an opportunity, we took it. And it was a totally, absolutely bankrupt company. I didn't have the money for it either. My brothers didn't have the money for it. Somehow, the franchisor believed in us. They wrote a check for us. And we came in. And worked hard, remembering the values with which we grew up. And honestly, it was education, global experience, hard work, the values that our parents taught us, and a lot of hard work. And we now have 3 sugar refineries, we have 3 ethanol plants, we have a gas company, we have textile mill. And it's all hard work of the 4 brothers. Now, what is the future? Nothing remains static.
Yes, everything dynamic.
Everything changes. And I think in talking to Nadia, I did mention to her that the key to success is continue to change, adapt yourself, see what lies around the corner. You do a good job today, but know what lies ahead. Doing a good job today and thinking I've achieved this will cruise me to the end. No, a success today doesn't mean success tomorrow.
True.
A success today is a
success is a very lousy teacher.
Success, very right. Success can be an enemy. Success can put handcuffs and chains around your feet. So be very wary of success. Seek it, but don't let it get to your head. So, see how things are changing. The successful leaders of the world, in the pictures, even in the books, they might look, they didn't do anything special, but there is something in them. And it's looking ahead. So we are continuously adopting changing times. See, when we were here, Pakistan was a country for the brand owners, and they thought that Pakistan, okay, do something. Today, Pakistan is Pepsi Cola's 5th largest market, growing double-digit for the last 10 years. It has one of the prime focuses of the corporation in the world. If their international results shake, Pakistan is generally a reason for success, or generally we are a good reason for success. If they have some success, whichever quarter they have success. So and in line with that, we are forging joint ventures to increase and this is alignment of our thinking with our franchisor. So we are forging some joint ventures, leveraging the collective strengths of ourselves and other corporate entities, and then moving forward to increase geographically and functionally, and in different parts and different opportunities that I had in Pakistan, many opportunities.
Excellent. Sir, again, lot of businesses, textile, chemical, and this franchise of PepsiCo. What are in Pakistan, again, being a head, being a managing director, what are the 3 challenges being MD you face managing your businesses? Either financial, either human resources, either any technical, technological, what are the challenges actually you think Riaz MD has to face?
Well, before I mention the challenges, I must mention that before we look at the challenges, we must believe and be committed to the opportunity of ours.
Sure. Because they are part of this, opportunities and challenges are the same.
And exactly. And if the commitment is there, then you will overcome all challenges that will come in your way. I'll tell you that, and I don't want to talk about the negative things, but there have been times where I have been framed by people who are unhappy for me being successful in business, and framed and with some nasty things. But then there are good people around also. So challenges were very severe. The challenges, and if you say that these don't happen in any other part of the world, I think even worse challenges happen. People, as soon as they see success in somebody, their competitors, they try to pull their leg. The same happens in Pakistan. Okay? The government authorities can be very tough in many parts of the world, and very unreasonable, and very bureaucratic, and very bullying. And that happens in Pakistan too. But to be honest with you, is it easier to overcome that in Pakistan than in the USA or Canada or any other part of the world? Pakistan is easier. And doing it the right way, you find a good human being sooner or later who will help you out. So, and overall, in Pakistan, the challenge is when the economy begins to grow. Can you imagine 2.4% growth, 207 million people, our geography, and if we grow at 7 to 8%, like Turkey or India, for about 10 years, where will our country be? All these problems will disappear. They will be overwhelmed by the economic progress that we make.
Guys, again, now I'm coming to the last part of my interview from this question. CPAC is really a lot of buzzword. CPAC is a buzzword nowadays. It is said it is a game changer. It is really changing the fate of this country and blah blah.
Let me confess that I am not an expert in CPAC, but I know enough about it.
Yes,
I know enough about it to make a comment. Our alignment and 1979 by a professor of international economics. At that time, most of the young people here were not even born, but there was Cold War, yes. USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, and USA, and the nuclear arm muscle flexing was going on. And he said, look, forget USSR. China should be, USA should be worried about China.
Okay.
And he said that the population and the way the superpowers that emerged in the past is manufacturing lower cost quality and then shipping it around the world. And he said that's China. It's inevitable.
And he said 1979.
79. At that time, I think Mao was still alive. Or maybe he had passed away, but China was the old China.
True.
So China is coming up in its current form, first time in the history of the globe.
True.
And we are sitting right next to it. Our partnership for success is inevitable. We have tried many other partnerships, but look what we have gotten and what they have taken away from us.
True.
So they are committed to Pakistan, they want to partner with Pakistan, they want to invest in Pakistan and the CPAC and the road network and many other things and the energy and so many other things that are going on. There is no rocket science. You don't need an Einstein. It's great for Pakistan. Mobility with our businesses are massively going to benefit because of the energy issues being solved, the freight that starts, the cost of the freight is going to go down. Now, as a sovereign nation, we must always be careful. And without spelling those things out, I think our institution, the pendulum should not go either extreme. We should balance all this in a way that we do not impede or compromise our sovereignty.
This is a big question.
And I think our very fine institutions are aware of it.
Right, I know. I know this directly. No, again, the question, one part of the question is left, sir, and that is because most of the businesses in Pakistan, they have the feeling of threat from the China, especially in Pakistan, and they are thinking about the diversification of the businesses. They're thinking about it. And what is your take on this diversification? And they must be ready for this competitiveness.
Very important question, and our government should not unfairly protect our businesses, but they should do a fair protection also.
True.
Because there is a serious danger that China, with its much superior manufacturing machinery, with this network, is likely to overwhelm our market, and we can lose our jobs. And it has happened in some fields already, for example, the shoe industry. Now that is something that our government, our commerce ministry should step in and at least for some time protect our industries. It has to be a combination. Protect them for now and then encourage them and incentivize them to develop efficiencies and skills to compete.
And the competitiveness.
And there may be some industries that we will have to protect. There are some industries, no matter what skill we require, but the scale at which the China manufacturing is, we cannot compete. So we will have to have some industry sacred to our country. And it is a very well thought out, mature, long-term policy that the government should come up with.
That's we are expecting from you. No, sir, the last part of my question, interview, then I will open to the house, sir. What is the biggest achievement of Ghazi Akhtar in his life? He's proud of his achievement. Short question, short question.
I don't, frankly, I'm a humble man, I'm a modest man. I think I haven't achieved enough. I like to spend the balance of my life continuing to struggle. But one thing is very clear, absolutely. I gave it my best.
You delivered your best?
I gave it my best. Everything I did. I was human. I was a human being. I was not a fool. but I gave it my best. So, if legacy and the time and when my successors look back, if they find something wrong, I think one thing they will not find wrong is, yes, I did give it my best. I think that's my biggest, that's something that I'm proud of.
Sir, CEOs are very knowledgeable as per my research. What is your take on this?
We had a consultant, I will not name that, very fine lady, for HR, and she interviewed all the executives and everything. And I had been the chief executive for 20 years then. And she came to me and she said, okay, I know chief executives have a pride, they don't want to listen to everything, but do you want me to give you only the good things or everything? I said, shoot me between the eyes. She said, in 20 years, at that time, none of your people have ever seen you smiling. And that was when I realized after 20 years, I had never smiled in a day. So that changed. Frankly, people say it is lonely, and it's the art of management. There is a certain way you have to balance, and certain distances have to be kept. But in spite of that, you can develop some very, very strong, powerful, sincere relationships with people in the board, with people across, and people who are in your company also. I think I have some very, very strong relationships. This is why we have retentions going up to 3 decades of people who continue to perform outstandingly even today.
Excellent. Sir, being a managing director, you have to travel a lot. How do you justify your work-life balance?
Okay, that's I'm so glad that you asked. I'm so glad that you asked. Again, can I be a little bit philosophical? Not very
Sure.
God created this universe, and this universe exists because of the balance.
True.
There is the way the planets and stars are all moving, it's a balance. Human mind is part of the universe, and God has given us a balance. He has given us all the instincts, all the impulses, and then there is a balance. Okay, so that is a balance of life that you've got to move with. Now, coming to your question, the balancing of your work with your family life and your friends and your health, you've got to balance that. Anybody who comes to me, he says, my health is being affected because my work takes so much time, I can't balance it. There is something wrong with him or her because they don't know how to manage their time. They don't know how to focus on things properly. They're not prioritizing things properly. Okay? So I think putting the key aspects of your life, your family, your friend, your health, and your work, and your career, and managing your time in a way that you're able to do the best in each one of them. I will never take this as an excuse that this suffered because I didn't have time. I've known, you've heard of, I've not known, you've heard of presidents of the United States of America who had miserable family lives. We see one right now. And we have seen presidents of the United States who were greatly attached to their families. And even as presidents. And even as presidents for 8 years, their relationships with the family did not suffer, it improved. The previous president of USA is one example of that. And I'm a great admirer of him.
True.
Mr. Obama.
I know, sir. I am a great fan of Obama.
I specified, I didn't want that to be misinterpreted.
Sir, it is researched by the Harvard Business Review, and you are also a lover of this HBR. The research says the biggest human competence for business leaders, corporate leaders, even other leaders, even political leaders, and that competence is called emotional intelligence. They must have. What is your take on emotional intelligent leader? Why EQ is more important than IQ?
I said that, I mentioned that in a different the different words. When I said, as a leader, you've got to be a human.
Okay.
And you're dealing with every human, and God has not created two humans the same. That's the same thing as dealing with the emotional quotient.
Okay.
Okay. So that is, I fully agree with you. I fully agree with HBR that's critical to your success.
Critical success.
Absolutely. I remember I asked another anecdote. My father was a very successful man, and he worked very, very closely with the long time serving president of Pakistan. And I said, and this was the tail end of the regime, and I asked him a question. What do you spend most of your time with him about? What do you discuss with him? And I was amazed at the answer. He said, most of our time is spent on selecting the right people for the right job.
Excellent.
And evaluating the performances of the people and where did we go wrong or right to put in this person.
Very, very, just appraisals.
If I ask myself, I may have a great vision or a great initiative in mind. If I don't select the right person and deal and motivate with him properly, according to the EQ of that person, I will never be successful. My successes are related to a good vision and the right person, and then dealing with him. Failures are related to a good vision, mostly, but selecting the wrong man or a lady.
So, business is tough, life is tough, and I'm really feeling different vibes because you are not a businessman from the core, you're a philosopher from the core of your heart. What is the philosophy of the stress? How do you manage stress? Because stress is fact of life. What is your coping strategy of stress?
Well, stress is human beings' greatest enemy and the greatest friend of
As well.
and the greatest friend of stress. People who suffer from stress are yourselves. You invite the stress. So it's this very classic saying that don't let your problems ride you, but ride over your problems.
True.
So, being a little bit more specific, I mentioned about balancing your life. You know, it's family unit is the most beautiful thing that civilization has. You must invest in it. And you must enjoy your family and your friends and look after your health. Find time for it. Good healthy habits and prioritize your things. Time manage your things very, very well. So that, as I said earlier, your work, your health, your friends, your family, balance it with good time management. And I think that is the best way to deal with your stress.
Sir, leaders are the leaders. And leaders are the leaders. As per the research, again, a good CEO or the leader, they read 50 to 60 books per annum, annually. And what are your favorite books on leadership, on management, or any close to your heart you like others to recommend others to read these books, 1, 2, 3?
Well, I'm certainly not reading 50 books a year, okay. But I'm very fond of reading.
Okay.
And when I take a book, frankly, time becomes a constraint and it's a question of prioritizing. So I have now got the ability that I can take a book and spend a couple of hours on it and I know the gist of the book. Okay? And then if I'm more interested, I can pick up something and read them in more detail. One book I'd like to mention, which is not very well known, but an amazing book. It's called, and my son gifted it to me.
Okay.
When he was in touch. It's written by a professor of the Fletcher School of Diplomacy. It's called Leading the Leaders.
Wow. Leading the Leaders.
Leading the Leaders. An amazing book. And it's the leadership we know, generally know, is somebody standing in front of screaming crowds and either singing or delivering a passionate speech. That's one part of leadership. The other part of leadership is to lead a team of successful, rich, brilliant, bright people with a lot of pride and ego. How do you lead them? Some of them could be more educated, more skilled, more rich than you are. How do you lead a group of such people? And that book contains some very, very good guidelines. And the book is taught in a lot of schools of diplomacy. And this book is also recommended highly for board members.
Okay.
So I would certainly, maybe I'll gift it to you.
Excellent. I will be honored.
That book, if it is in your very nice library, would be a good addition.
Any regret in your life, sir? Up till now?
Well, many. But I want to do more for human beings.
Okay.
Who are less privileged.
Less privileged. Biggest fear in life?
I don't have fears anymore.
No, any fears anymore. Except
the fear of God.
Fear of God and the fear of Begum.
That too.
You're banished.
There comes an age where you have seen it all and like this is the kind of time where you say, okay, plenty done, but now when somebody bowls at me, should I play safe or should I try to get a six?
True.
So I find myself at a stage where, okay, done enough, achieved reasonable things, and now if the ball comes my way, I'm going to go for a six or out of the stadium. The ball is out of the stadium.
So
that's the kind of mindset.
Thank you, sir. Your take on happiness, your idea of happiness.
As I said, the balancing of your career, your family, your friends, and your health.
The balance.
And there is a very, very good book, let me mention that.
Okay.
A very good, titled Happiness. It is not a philosophical book, it is a book that shows very elaborate research. It is US-centric.
Okay.
It is US-centric. But it applies to all humans. And I'll send you the link for that. But the key learning was that money up to a certain level brings happiness, as long as it fulfills the basic needs that you have, a house, a car. But beyond a certain point, money does not bring you happiness. Beyond that point, the happiness comes from giving to others.
Excellent.
And helping others.
So people usually they go for success, and success, as I said to you, success is a very large teacher. The biggest learning comes from the failures. How you define failures?
Well, without failure there is no life. There is no flavor in life. And somebody who is doing his job perfectly, day after day, year after year, he or she is the one I fear the most. Because the day they will have their first stumble, they'll fall on God. So be thankful to God when you have a failure. That's the key. Failures will come. I mean, there are so many brilliant people who are not able to get too far away in life because at the first failure they get disheartened. I think almost all the successful people that I have studied and read about, they had miserable failures in life.
Yes.
But they stood up, dusted their clothes, got back on the horse and rode again. And they fell 10 times again, but they never gave up. They never gave up. And that is the difference between how some less brilliant people are more successful than people who are much more brighter than them. Because they deal with failure. They don't let the failure stop you. Failures will come at every stage of life. Sitting here, can I say that I will not have challenges? I will have challenges till the last day of my life. But we've got to be ready for it.
True, sir.
And deal with it.
Sir, my second last question. Leaders and CEOs, they make decisions. They make smart decisions, they make big decisions. And sometimes they make difficult decisions. Not popular decisions. Any one or two difficult decisions, tough decisions, Ghazi Akhtar took in his professional journey?
The most difficult decisions have been where there is a lovely person I know in the company, a great human being, but he's not fit for the job. And it is best for him to go and use his skills somewhere else.
True.
That is the most difficult situation I face. And I have faced in the past.
Last question, sir. Your optimism about this Pakistan. Where do you see Pakistan 5-10 years down the road? In all the context of CPI plus other opportunities and the message you want to deliver to the young people?
Where do I see Pakistan? Success, success, success and more success. Never have any doubt about that. We'll stumble, we'll have scratches, we'll fall off the horse. But the way God has created this country, there is nowhere but success. You will rise. And I've mentioned during this interview factors, the youthfulness, the population, the entrepreneurship, the geographic location, the seasons of this country, the rains, the forests, the mountains, the deserts, the resources.
So diversities.
How can we go wrong? We just need, and time will come. It is coming. Our country is not God-forsaken. Our judicial institutions are more independent than in any other part of the world. Our military is more effective than any other military in the world. Look at how we have solved some of the problems in a snap, which other countries have taken 25 years, or in some places decades and billions of dollars and not solved it. We have a political party that you can align with on a positive side. You could be from any school of thought, you can have any vision, and you will have a party to align with. That's our media. A man on the street, a laborer, will have a voice on TV screen, and the richest man in the country also has a voice on the screen. So these are some very, very positive attributes of our country. And we are evolving. Look at these noises and some screams and some splashes of mud here and there. Don't worry about them. It's part of our moving ahead. Pakistan, you people are lucky to be in this country, the young people.
Excellent.
You will have much better lives, much rich country. You will be much richer than the previous generation. This is where I see Pakistan. My own children, my sons, on their own, after they had a great life in USA.
Excellent.
And very educated. On their own, they came back, they said, this is the land of opportunity, and I want to be here. And they are here, and they are experimenting with entrepreneurship. So I am absolutely confident, inshallah. And I still see that not too far away.
Thank you for sharing your opinions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You really, I got inspiration from a very visionary CEO and Managing Director, Ghazi Akhtar sir. The floor is open. Just 3 questions from your side. Just time is short. Any question from your side? Either for Pakistan, for entrepreneurship, for CEOs. क्योंकि CEOs के बारे में जानना बड़ा ज़रूरी है क्योंकि आप हर बंदा अपनी सब मैंने CEO को redefine कर दिया है. CEO does not stand for Chief Executive Officer, it stands for Chief Energizing Officer. If it's an energizer, the whole company is motivated. He is depressed, the whole company is depressed.
And the same thing as EQ.
EQ. Right. हाँ जी, over to you guys. Please, अपना नाम बोलिएगा और क्वेश्चन जरा पूछिए बाद में बोलिएगा.
My name is Mohammad Abdullah Khan, and I want to ask a question that, as you said, you don't have fear about anything. So, as a businessman, don't you have fear of any loss, any time? If you can elaborate this.
Well, I think I got carried away by saying that I don't have any fear, but I think a better way to say that is I will not let any fear come in my way.
How, sir? How you manage this?
I think as a younger man, to be very fair, a lot of fears come to you. Okay? And there are some natural fears of family members and everything, but I'm talking in context of the career only, right? Yes. Those fears exist there, you know. But a confidence and a belief that if something comes, I will work my best to undo it. It may be difficult to understand, but that's a state of mind. Failure. I don't want to be overwhelmed with failure. I want to believe that failures will come and have the mind set ready. Then I fight it out. I know a lot of successful people from whom I've learned. People you see at pinnacle, you think that it was just, one day, luck so happened they are sitting there. They have a massive journey to it. And the key is they overcome their fears and failures.
But sir, if you have less resources, then how it will become more difficult to overcome this?
My father was orphaned at the age of 4. He was brought up by a totally uneducated mother in a village in East Punjab. He rose to be the 4-star general of Pakistan Army and one of the generals who was most remembered. He didn't have any resources. And while doing that, with very limited means, he educated 4 children in USA. Professional education. That's my thought.
I hope your question is answered. Ji, Salman sir, please अपना नाम बताइए.
जी, Salman Ron is my name. As a corporate sector, I've worked on internationally also. Here, one word which nowadays is very popular: leadership, training on the leadership gap. But that leadership gap, what everyone is talking, is not bridging the gap. If we talk 5 CEOs, 4 of them say, I want a training on the leadership because that is what I am feeling missing in my company. But after all that, why is that gap not being filled? Or why people still believe in every company they still need their people to be more leaders?
Well, I think one positive thing is that there is a sense that leadership skills need to be developed. Now, as I said, and I was listening to Gandhi Saab on television, that the best leadership, if you can point out in this world, is our own prophet. That's the best leadership. So, gap of leadership will always exist. God has not created us perfect. And I think just the feeling that leadership needs to be worked on is good. But can you master it in a finite way at any point in time? Never in your whole life. So the best training of leadership starts right in kindergarten.
True.
Okay? And it is about, rather than teaching books, creating environments or projects and letting these young boys and girls in secondary school, high school, in college, university, MBAs, and later on in corporate structures, letting them think creatively how to lead a particular situation. Let them think about it. And let them we question on the consequences of that. So it's a constant, ongoing journey that never stops. With that, in maturity development. Leaders who've been around heads of countries for 30 years, they think they're invincible. They can never really move. We have seen some recent examples in Africa. One false step, they can make mistakes.
Right.
So it's an ongoing effort. It's an ongoing, every situation.
That's right.
If I can tell you the key 4 principles, I will be lying. It means how little I move. I hope I got it.
That's right.
G.
Yes, sir. My name is Atif Arif, and I work for a public sector bank as Vice President. First of all, I would like to thank Ijaz Sahab and Management House for becoming a bridge between us and the CEO fraternity and letting us know the good and the untold heroes of our society. Frankly, sir. And the question with respect to this session, first of all, I'm very humble and very, feel privileged. I know you much more than before. The question is, after listening all this interview, how can you be so optimistic? For the whole this 1 hour interview, I have not even get an indicator that you see some pessimism, negativity about any education, empowerment, women, Pakistan. How can you be so optimistic? This is my question. This cannot happen.
If you want to get anywhere in life, you will not achieve it by being pessimistic. It's very simple. You've got to be optimistic. You've got to be optimistic. However, it doesn't mean that you're unrealistic. You've got to be realistic about the problem at hand. But optimism is absolutely critical to your success. You've got to stay happy. All the questions you've asked me, the answer lies in optimism. Realistically. You can't ignore it, you can't be in denial with the problems. You've got to know the problems, you've got to understand the problems. But how will you solve them if you're not optimistic? I'm never impressed by anybody who is criticizing Pakistan. हमारे मुल्क में ऐसे होता है, हमारा मुल्क तो है ऐसा. And frankly, in social gatherings, I'm not rude to them, but I politely drift away from them. Because they are not right. I hope I answered that.
What do you say?
आप ना आपका ये छोटा सा जवाब मैं अगर ऐड करें इजाज़त दें सर, आप ना टीवी के में रात के शो देखने छोड़ दें. जितना नेगेटिविटी 2 पाकिस्तान है, मैं सर अक्सर लोगों से ये कहता हूँ 2 पाकिस्तान, एक सुबह का पाकिस्तान और एक शाम का पाकिस्तान. सुबह का पाकिस्तान हम बिल्ड करते हैं, आप अपनी जॉब करते हैं, सारे अपने दोस्त स्टूडेंट्स अपने जो यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ने जाते हैं, मजदूर अपने काम करने जाते हैं, और सुबह का पाकिस्तान 7 बजे होता है और शाम 7 बजे बंद होता है. ये बिल्ड दिस कंट्री. शाम का पाकिस्तान 7 बजे बैठता है सर शाम को और रात 12 बजे तक मुल्क की कवानी करता है. और इसलिए मेरे सुबह के पाकिस्तान की शाम के पाकिस्तान से लड़ाई है. ये जो सारा कंटेंट बन रहा है ये बेसिकली शाम के पाकिस्तान लोगों के थप्पड़ है उनके मुंह के ऊपर कि जनाब दिस इज द पाकिस्तान, दिस इज द पाकिस्तान, दिस इज द पाकिस्तान. ये वो शाम का पाकिस्तान है जो कि बेसिकली 4 के 4 5 20 हाउसेस हैं और 20-25 साल जिसको मैं एंकर नहीं कहता या उनके जो आपके बैठते हैं इंटरव्यूज में उनको मैं क्लाउन्स कहता हूँ. दे आर द क्लाउन्स और दे आर जस्ट मोकरी एंड रिडिक्यूल द सक्सेस ऑफ द मॉडर्न पाकिस्तान. They do not do anything. सिर्फ बातें करने के अलावा किसी को कोई धंधा नहीं है भाई. So वो सिर्फ अपना बेचते हैं, अपने पास बेचते हैं. उनके पास कोई विजन नहीं, कोई एक्शन नहीं, कोई कंक्रीट. उनके पास रोड मैप नहीं पाकिस्तान का. They separate the negativity. क्यों? क्योंकि separate negativity बिकती है. They sell the miseries in the Afghanistan. तो इसलिए मैंने रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा अब आप टीवी के ड्रामे शाम का पाकिस्तान देखना छोड़ दें, सुबह देखें. You will never be a pessimist. Thank you. And last question. Hi, please stand up.
So my name is Sagar. So my question to you, sir, according to your experience, sir, can you guide us how we stay focused in our life?
How to stay focused?
Very, very good.
क्या मुझे भी distraction है. तो focus कैसे achieve हो सर?
देखिए, a very good question, my son. But to stay focused, you've got to know where you are heading. In life, unfortunately, at one stage of life, you don't realize that, but as time unfolds, you realize life is very short. Okay? And if you drift through life, just day after day, you will drift aimlessly. You will not achieve your objectives, and you will end up wasting a lot of time. And you will reach an age when you will say, there isn't much left, I'm so old, but where am I heading, what have I achieved? So, my counsel to the young generation is, sit here today, wherever you are, no matter how stupid that idea could be, where do I want to be 5 years from now? Where do I want to be 10 years from now? Sometimes when I say, where do you want to be 20 years from now? In mind, I've interviewed thousands of young boys and girls all over the world. And sometimes, one question they are always taken aback. I say to a young person, where do you see yourself 20 years from now? And that's where I really discover it.
Allah.
If he is a person in the 40s, I ask, where do you see yourself at the age of 60? When you retire. So, that will bring focus in life and help you deal with the many, many distractions. Life is full of so many things. But you've got to decide what is your priority. Achieve that. Once you are heading in that direction, then you can decide what time you have and enjoy the other things of life. Can I ask one favor? I haven't seen a question from any lady member here.
Yes, this is what I was expecting.
So,
नहीं आपने नहीं करना आपने थोड़ी हाँ जी पर्सनल तो बैठी है आप इफ़ाइका प्लीज आपने
Actually, I'm enjoying discussion. मुझे इसमें बहुत I'm really humbled as well, and I think when you go for the life, when you see the scenario, and when you learn from the people, that's the most powerful impact you are getting from the people. So I don't have any question as but it's wonderful. It's really wonderful to listen to you.
हाँ जी आप question please.
Can I ask a question then?
Yes, sir. You can ask.
Can I ask a question? And any of my very fine young daughters here can answer that. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
The journey, if you're asking to me...
Just one line answer.
A happy...
Think without any
No,
hesitation.
I just want happiest life.
Yes.
That's what I want.
And the lady in the yellow shirt, where do you see yourself 20 years from now?
Dependent on our happy life.
Dependent? And the lady in the pink shirt?
Happiness
20 years
life.
from now? Happiness in life.
Yes, obviously.
And may I ask, how would you define happiness?
If you ask me, I suffered. I have seen so many things in my life. But at this age, I know one thing. We work hard, we go for the things, we want to achieve the success and, the failures. We face the failures. I face my fears, I face my failures. But the one thing I learned from my life, everything gonna be here. Whenever I go forward, and my each step having something different for me, till I'm on, last stage. But the one thing which I can focus, that how to learn by yourself to smile, how to learn to achieve beauty of world, that is called happiness. That comes from you, that comes from your inner side. That's not belongs to anybody. Nobody will give me that. That's me who gonna achieve that. That's me who has the power to kill my fears, kill my everything, what distract me from my towards to success. My success is my happiness. Rest of come behind me.
I'm sorry if I embarrassed some of you by asking this.
No.
But as much senior to all of you, I would just say, maybe use this as an inspiration to think ahead and think big. And don't let anything cloud your mind, or any social taboo or any cultural thing refrain you from thinking big.
Yeah, true. Agree.
And yes, we are all seeking happiness.
Yeah.
Maybe that is one lesson I'd like to.
Oh, yeah. Thank you